Just how fast was Carnotaurus? Hey everyone, Mike here with Prehistoric Magazine. Welcome back to another video. Now, this is another one of those questions that is very difficult to answer. I think that's a theme on this channel. We delve into issues that don't necessarily have easy answers, difficult questions, and that's why I like the channel. That's why I appreciate you, the viewer. I really hope at the end of the video, you'll take the time to chime in with an ever important question. How fast was Carnotaurus? Now, if you're as old as I am, 43, graduated high school in 2000, you might remember the Disney movie Carnotaur, Dinosaur. Now, that was a big movie for the time for me because it really represented, a portrayal of a big meat-eating dinosaur other than T-Rex. And I vividly remember graduating high school in the year 2000, going to theaters and watching that. And I remember when I got it on VHS tape. Hard to imagine VHS tapes. But I rewatched those ambush scenes over and over and over again with the Carnotaur. And it was just fascinating. The movie captivated me. The soundtrack captivated me. Now, obviously, that Carnotaurus was vastly bigger than the real-life Carnotaurus. I'd love for us one day to find out that Carnotaurus could be that big. I love giant theropods. But that animal was over 20 feet tall, if I'm mistaken, between 20 to 25 feet tall, completely overgrown, overgrossed. That would be the largest theropods ever been discovered, even bigger than some of these new T-Rex samples that we're getting. So nonetheless, Disney took creative liberties, made the animal gargantuan. The real-life animal was not anywhere near that big, but still a frightening predator. Now, in Prehistoric Planet, we heard that the animal could be 12 feet tall and around 2 tons. Now, I don't know, 12 feet tall still seems a bit too big. Now, maybe there was a Carnotaurus that was 12 feet tall, pushing the limits again. Again, that's what we're hearing with T-Rex and Meraxes. We're hearing about theropods getting new size estimates, pushing the limits. So this is another theropod. Why can't we push the limits with this? But for the purpose of this video, I think a good size estimate for Carnotaurus is roughly 30 feet long, 2 tons, and around 10 feet tall at the hips. So it's a very large animal, 4,000-pound animal. I think we're getting spoiled, and we mentioned this before on this channel, but we're getting spoiled into thinking that a real man, a real dinosaur is only 9, 10, maybe even 11 or 12 tons. That's a real man, real dinosaur. A 2-ton animal, a 4,000-pound Carnotaurus, is nothing to sneeze at. That would be by far the largest predator today on planet Earth. If we had a 4,000-pound Carnotaurus roaming somewhere, that would be by far the largest predator on planet Earth today. But nonetheless, in doing some research for this video and asking around, we really don't have the legs of Carnotaurus, despite what the media has portrayed about Carnotaurus having long legs and being a speed demon. Now, I like to think that those are true, that it did have those long legs and that it was a pursuit ambush predator, short bursts of speed. Imagine this animal hunting and ambushing prey, much like it did in the movie Dinosaur, behind a thick veil of trees, bursting forward through the foliage to track its prey down in a short burst. That's how I like to think of the animal. I like to think that it was speedy, it was fast. Now, as far as coming up with a speed, that's going to be up to you all down in the comments section down below. If you Google Carnotaurus speed, it's going to say 30 to 35 miles per hour. I don't know. That may be a little bit too fast. Again, we don't even have the legs for this animal, so we're missing crucial and critical information of this predator from late Cretaceous Patagonia. So that's why you all are so important down in the comment section down below. This animal, Carnotaurus, has continued to fascinate me ever since I was a teenager, ever since I went to Disney World and rode the ride Carnotaur, rode the ride Dinosaur. Now, it was very disappointing when I came to be an adult and discovered that Carnotaur skeleton in the ride Dinosaur, if you've ever ridden at Disney World, I'm actually in the process of getting rid of it, but if you ever rode it, the skeleton seemed huge, and that's because they used quite a bit of T-Rex, and they kind of redesigned the skull. So you end up thinking that the animal's quite a bit bigger than it is. And as a kid, I didn't realize that. I'm just looking up. Here's a big horned animal. That's Carnotaurus. But not everything is what it appears to be. Not everything is what meets the eye. So it looks like Disney again took creative liberties in their ride dinosaur, and that exhibit in the middle, that giant Carnotaur, was not truly life-size, not an accurate representation of the animal. The real Carnotaurus was much more slender. It's kind of a weird-looking beast with a long neck and an unusually small skull at maybe just 2 feet in length, which is not very big. Pretty small for an animal that could potentially be around 30 feet in length and 10 feet tall. That's a really small skull. Still not a skull I would want to mess with, but a small skull nonetheless. Again, everything about Carnotaurus is strange, from the short arms, almost non-existent, to the skull, to the horns, which are my particular favorite. The horns of this animal, make it truly one of the unique theropods in dinosaur history. So again, enough rambling from me. I would really love to hear from you down in the comments section. This is one of those videos where we just don't have all the information. We just don't have the missing pieces. And I'm really curious to see what we all come up with down in that comment section down below. How fast do we think Carnotaurus was? Appreciate all the support on this channel, and see you in the next video. Take care.